if anyone had walked through the dusty paths of Umuaka village years ago, and boldly declared that the cheerful young bride everyone admired would one day become the most pitied woman in the entire community, the villagers would have laughed until tears rolled down their faces. It would have sounded impossible. Because back then, Adaeze's life looked like the kind of life every young woman dreamed of living. She had a loving husband, a peaceful home, and a heart so pure that even strangers could feel its warmth. But life has a cruel way of changing people's stories without asking for permission. Sometimes, the brightest smiles hide the darkest futures. Sometimes, the people who laugh the loudest today become the ones who cry the hardest tomorrow. And sometimes, the miracle everyone celebrates becomes the very reason they are condemned. No one knew that the same village that once danced for Adaeze would one day gather to demand her death. No one knew that the songs of celebration would one day become songs of mockery. No one knew that the woman everyone called blessed would one day be called cursed. This is the heartbreaking story of Adaeze. Adaeze was known throughout Umuaka village as a woman whose kindness had no boundaries. If an elderly woman struggled to carry firewood, Adaeze would rush to help. If a hungry child wandered through the village with an empty stomach, she would gladly share the little food she had, even if it meant sleeping hungry herself. If someone lost a loved one, Adaeze was always the first person to sit beside them, hold their trembling hands, and cry with them. She never looked down on anyone. She never spoke evil of anyone. She believed that every human being deserved love. The elderly women adored her. Whenever she passed by, they would stretch out their wrinkled hands and pray over her. My daughter, may your home never know sorrow. May your children surround your table. May your laughter never turn into tears. Adaeze would smile, kneel respectfully, and thank them. She had no idea those prayers would soon become the very words she would cling to while drowning in pain. The children loved her even more. Every market day, she returned home with roasted groundnuts, sugarcane, or little sweets hidden inside her wrapper. The moment they saw her from afar, they would scream with excitement. Adaeze is back. They surrounded her with laughter, pulling gently at her wrapper until she laughed and shared everything she had. To those children, she was more than a neighbor. She was family. The entire village believed one thing about Adaeze. If there is any woman who deserves happiness, it is her. Sadly, life had already begun writing a different story. Only a few months after her wedding, Adaeze woke up one morning feeling unusually weak. The smell of food suddenly made her uncomfortable. Her body felt different. She quietly counted the days. Her heartbeat quickened. Could it really be true? Unable to contain her excitement, she hurried to the village midwife. The elderly woman smiled gently as she completed her examination. My daughter, you are carrying life. For a moment, Adaeze couldn't breathe. Then tears rolled freely down her cheeks. Not tears of sorrow, but tears of overwhelming joy. She placed both hands on her stomach and whispered softly, "Thank you, God." She couldn't wait for Chinedu to return home. That evening, as the golden sun disappeared behind the trees, Chinedu walked into the compound carrying his cutlass after a long day's work. Adaeze stood quietly at the entrance of their hut. Her hands trembled. Her eyes sparkled with excitement. As soon as he reached her, she gently took his hand and placed it on her.